APR, today's best country.
Joining me in the studio this morning is a man who I met, it would be, 3 years ago now, isn't it, Ben?
Yeah, about 3 years ago.
Yeah, this is Ben Brown, and your story really inspired me. I met you doing wheelchair basketball. You're not so much into that right now, but before we get into what you're doing, I want to know, how did you end up in your wheelchair? Because you are a paraplegic?
Yes. Back in August 20th, 2006, I was getting ready for an ATV motocross race coming up, and I was at practically a brand new track. It was only 3 days old, and I was being precautious like I normally am. I was just on a warm-up lap and I hit a jump, didn't go right, and when I crashed, I was thrown over the handlebars, and when I was rolling on the ground, the quad flipped, and when it was flipping over, a lawn darted on my back, and which resulted in breaking my spine and left me where I'm at being a T5, which is thoracic 5 vertebrae complete paraplegic. So I'm paralyzed from the chest down.
But this, Ben, and this is what inspires me, didn't stop you. Like when you lost your legs, you didn't lose your life.
During the first day, like when I got injured, I went through a lot of CAT scans and stuff, and then I found out later that night I was paralyzed, and my first two questions were, so, when am I going to walk? When am I going to race? And the doctor looks at me, he's like, why do you want to race your forward again? I was like, because it's the best thing there is.
Well, for real. And really, I mean, why would you want to stop living? I mean, you're still a person. I mean, just because you can't walk.
Exactly.
So it's a good thing. Now, Ben, you also go into schools and talk to the students there, too.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. I'm actually going into Berwick School this week and next week to talk to the kids, just to tell them, like, you know, my experiences with being paralyzed and being adaptive in para-athletics.
Now, you are into para-athletics right now. What are you doing?
I'm doing the 100 and 200 meter wheelchair racing. I'm trying to get into nationals, which is going to be in Toronto on August the 1st and 2nd. I got to shave 2.1 seconds off my 100 meter and at least 7 seconds off my 200 meter, so I think we're going to mostly focus on the 100, and I got a month to do that because I'm going to what we call the Boiling Point International Track Meet down in Windsor, Ontario next month.
Just so people can understand, it's not a normal wheelchair that you're in to race with. You've got it sitting here in the studio. This thing's about 4 feet long.
Yeah, it's a chair you would see on television, like for people that have ever seen wheelchair racing on television, you may have seen, I'm pretty sure the world's most decorated wheelchair racer, Chantal Petitclerc, races. It has 3 wheels. The back 2 wheels are on an angle, and when you first buy a race chair, you can have your choices of wheels, either spoked or 3-spoke carbon fiber, or in the ones I got is in the back is a carbon fiber disc. Mm-hmm. Most people go with the carbon fiber disc because they're more rigid, and I find it, and they're lighter, of course, and with being them so rigid and having no flex to it, if you have to make a correction in your lane, it's much easier to do versus having a spoke wheel, which I originally had because the flex takes half the effort out.
So now, what are you doing for training? Like, where do you train around here in the Annapolis Valley?
I train at Acadia University track on the Raymond Field about 3 times a week, for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I do 2 to 3 road pushes in the valley 2 to 3 a week, once in Berwick, once in Elsford, and I'm going to add Waterville.
What's a road push?
I push on the road with the traffic, and hopefully, I choose the back roads, you know, like where there's less traffic, and hopefully cars are respectful. Mind you, the first couple times I did it, people seen me push, and they're like, "What?" Either give me the cool look, or "What in the heck is that pushing?"
Well, it is. It's not a normal wheelchair. You wouldn't think that right off the hop. You might think this is an experimental bike or something. But when you're training, you actually have a goal. And what is your goal?
This year, I want to make nationals, and my second goal, hopefully, if I don't make it this year, I'll definitely do it next year, is to be on the developmental national team.
I like the way that you said, if I don't get it this year, I'll get it next year. There's none of this, well, if I try hard, maybe I'll get it. With you, it's this determination, man.
Well, I mean, I don't settle for second. I hate to lose, and I know, like, at the end of the day, if I don't get it, at least I know I tried as hard as and I gave everything I got, and then I just have to step up my training even more. Like, last summer, I went to Canada Games. I set 3 personal bests out of 4 races I did in the 2 and the 400. The first thing I did was I noticed, you know, when I went to Canada Games, 90% of the guys that I raced against made me look like a twig. So what did I do? I went to GNC and bought some whey protein, and I started hitting the weights at Michelin 2 to 3 times a week. I started off with some of the exercises I was doing, maybe 50 pounds. I got up to like 110, or with bench press, I mean, I've never was a good bench presser in high school, but I got up to 121, and I mean, that's pretty impressive for being, you know, not exactly strong in high school. And if I always can make my workout better, I will, because I always demand that much. And if anybody see my Facebook status last night and today, I am asking for someone who wants to train with me and who thinks they can push me harder than I push myself.
Well, I don't think anybody can push you harder than you push yourself. Not only, Ben, are you training for the Paralympics, you are also the only paraplegic four-wheeled motocross driver in the province?
Yeah, I'm the only guy that races motocross in Canada, period, that happens to be paraplegic.
Really?
And I was the first paraplegic to race in AMA ATV National back in 2008 at Red Bud.
That's a good deal. How'd you make out?
That was my first race in 2 years, since my injury, and I gained in the 4 open C class. I got, I think, 27th out of 31, and I got a 24th out of 27 in the 450C class. And these guys are like the top guys, and as far as like amateurs go in the States. And I mean, a lot of those guys would make some of our guys look around here, no offense to my friends, but slow.
Yeah, oh, there's no doubt. But how does it feel for you getting back on the quad after knowing that's what put you in the chair?
A lot of people didn't think I was going to be able to do what I do. And I knew I could because I've seen videos of guys on dirt bikes and stuff like that happen to be paralyzed. And the first time I got on, I didn't even think about my wheelchair. And every time I get on, I don't even think about anything. I just go and do it. And at the end of the day, I either know I put in a good set of motos or I put some really bad ones. And you don't want to see me when I put some bad ones in because I'm still that competitive.
It still must be a freedom for you, though, on the quad.
Oh, it's pure freedom. It's just like once I strap myself in, start the bike up and get it warmed up and once I'm up to the gate, like at the races in the U.S., like I'm just zoned in and there's nothing else.
You are an inspiration, Ben, and if someone wants to get a hold of you, maybe to have you do a talk in a classroom or something, how can they get a hold of you?
You can either get a hold of me through Facebook if you have it. If not, you can get through me on email, which is reconmaster_97@hotmail.com. I'm always out and about. You should be able to see my truck. It's an S10 covered in stickers and a smashed front end at the moment.
All right, Ben. Well, thanks for joining me in the studio today.
Yeah.
And like I said before, you are an inspiration, and definitely you're still alive. There's no doubt about it.
Thanks, Jerry.
APR, today's best country.